morning. I had a couple things I feel like I want to do today. And one of those is share a little bit about who I am. Because, I'm new here and really don't know me. I feel like I need to share a little bit about me before I get to what I feel like I want to share in a minute. We all have a testimony, and nobody can feel that. No matter how much they try, we all have something to share about ourselves. And, with our story combined with past stories, we have our past, our present, and our future. And anyways, most people call me a goody two-shoes. My husband likes to say it because, as he calls himself, he's a heathen. I didn't know him as a heathen, but, I didn't grow up or get into drugs and alcohol, but I had my own struggles. Just because I didn't deal with any of that stuff, I still had struggles of my own. And one of those struggles was my hearing impairment. I started working this week as a temporary for a housekeeping kind of job in the police jury place. And it's only for like a week and a half, but this one lady said, if you'd have never told me, I would have never known. And so I'm grateful that God brought me that far that people don't even realize how much help. But that was one of my bigger struggles growing up. Because when we were in kindergarten, that's when they first found out. They never knew it until we were in kindergarten. And I have a twin sister, and we both had to have hearing aids. She had one, I had two. And it was like, we hated it. Had all these hearing tests, raising hands, listening to the sound. Hated it. So we dreaded every time we had to go to the hearing doctor. And so that was one of the things that caused me to become close to Jesus. I didn't want to talk about it. I let everybody do the talking for me. So for me to be up here is a miracle for a lot of people. So they're like, oh my gosh, she's speaking. But I have come a long way. But it caused me to become shy, backwards, and become a person that I didn't know who I was. And so it's like, God, I want to know who I am. You. And so as we grew in that, we had our hearing aids and stuff. And we were living in West Virginia at the time, and then we moved to Tennessee because my dad's job, and then we moved to North Carolina to do different jobs. And then during that time, my parents ended up getting divorced. So my mom and my sister moved back to West Virginia to close to her family and my grandparents and stuff. And that was hard. Not dealing with the hearing, but also my parents. Great, you feel like you're the one at fault when really it has nothing to do. Now, so many kids grow up thinking, they're the reason that the parents. And as I've grown up with you, you realize you're not the reason. It's just whatever happened between them. Because everybody's story is different and my parents divorced. And so I'm thankful, that even though through that time, I had a hard time forgiving my dad. I didn't understand it. And for it took a while for God to really help me to understand and see through other people that, encouraged and tried to help me. I finally forgave my dad. And, I didn't want to hold a grudge. I hate being bitter. I hate conflict. And so I didn't want to hold that against my dad. It's like, God gives us all second chances. And most of the time we all give him that chance. He keeps giving us that because he loves us so much. So why could I hold that against my dad when God forgave me for who I am? So I finally forgave my dad, and in 2002, that's when my husband, we were both in Chicago running a discipleship program called Windy City Master. We were there for 2 years. 1 year as students, and then the second year as leaders. And he liked me from the get-go. I personally didn't. I was like, it's just a big brother. But during those second years, we couldn't date our first year anyway, so I didn't have that to worry about. But of course, he's still thinking of me. But, I'm thankful that through those 2 years, I grew up. I found out who was more who I was inside. Because if I hadn't got from where I was and took the step of faith because everybody's like, Dad, you're going to Chicago? That's like far from home. Never really been far from home. So I knew I had to do that to find out who I was. And so that was the beginning of finding out who I was in God and what I could be, because I felt like I was nothing. Because my sister reminded me this week, she was like, so many people said we would amount to nothing. And I was like, wow, look at where I am now. I'm in ministry, I have a husband, and, I have all kinds of family and friends, and you guys and new people that we have in family. And so it's like amazing to see where I started to where I am now and where I'm going. And so, of course, we got married in 2003. We've been married 12 years, and I'm grateful for those 12 years. We've had our ups and downs just like any marriage, but I'm grateful because I made a commitment that I didn't want to be like my parents. I love my parents, and they set different examples and taught me different things, but I wanted my relationship with my husband to be founded on God's word. And if I didn't do that, then it would be like most people, they would fall away. So I was like, okay, God, this is yours, so I'm doing it for you. And it was more of a struggle for me than him because of that, because I've had some of my family before, and so I said, okay, God, this has to be you. You have to show me I'm doing the right thing. Several times it's confirmed, and so now we're in ministry together, and I'm grateful. And I've come so far. I've learned more of who I am, what my calling is, what I'm supposed to be doing, and this is part of it. And yes, I'm nervous every time, but I know that God has put something in me that He wants other people to hear. And I don't always hear with the physical, but I hear with the heart. And that's what God has gifted me with, is hearing with the heart that a lot of people don't want to take time to hear. And so as I go into my message, I have a song that I want to play first. It's by a new song. It's called God Hears. And as the song plays, it's a video. You should be able to see the lyrics. Just listen to it and hear what it has to say. I love that song. It's spoke volumes in my life lately, just over the stuff. But so many times I like just God hears, and when we hear Him, do we really hear Him? And so it says, my dear brothers and sisters, take note of this. Everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry. James 1:19. And it's so true because most of the time we're so quick to speak. When somebody comes to us with a problem, good news, bad news, whatever, we're so quick to start talking. And we forget to stop and listen. We're like, and that's how God feels sometimes. We start telling Him everything we want, everything we need, and we forget to stop and let Him speak to us. And I'm very guilty of that because my mind is constant. It's like I'm thinking of this, thinking of that, and I forget to stop and say, okay, God, what is it that you want to do in my life, today, tomorrow, the future, this is true, And so many times we get with people and we just start telling them what we think, what our advice is for them, and we need to stop and just listen to them. Sometimes that's all I'm supposed to do, somebody to just listen. And that's exactly how God is. He just wants to listen. It says, I wonder why I don't hear from the shepherd anymore. And John 10:27, it says, my sheep listen to my voice, I know them, and they follow me. And I saw this as being, I was like, that's perfect for what I want, because it's true. We're so distracted by everything in life around us. And it's just interesting, I was like, that's perfect. But we wonder why. Why don't we hear it? And I'm like, wow. But this is exactly why we don't hear it. We get caught up in the TV, we get caught up in the computer, Facebook, ordering stuff online, doing everything we do. We watch all kinds of, Netflix. I know we're guilty of Netflix. And, the news, we're caught up in our everyday chores of cleaning. We have stuff we have to do, some of us are caught up in our cell phones all the time. We're constantly looking at it. Who's texting? Who's emailed us? Who's on Facebook? What's the latest news? Sometimes we're caught up in, reading magazines, reading books. Nothing wrong with them. It's just sometimes we get so caught up in these things that we forget that. We forget to listen. And, we get caught up in movies, watching movies and video games, Sometimes that's some people's getaway, but at the same time, it's definitely time for him. And so that's, it was just a good illustration God brought to my mind, while I was preparing the site. Oh my God, this is what we do. We're constantly distracted. Many of you have kids. You have kids coming at you, growing up, even if they were little, mommy, daddy, this. I can't personally, because I don't have any, but, we have that distraction. And they're all good distractions, but they're also bad distractions at times because we get so caught up in it that we forget to say, hey God, what do you want to speak in my life? We're too busy, unresponsive. And what that means is one person is described as a train going by. They hear it all the time, they live by it, so they constantly heard that. But over time, as they live there, they were able to block it, so they never heard it. But somebody new would hear it. But that person, they blocked it. And sometimes that's what we do to God. We block it. And I'm like, wow, we need to take a step back and reflect on what God is trying to tell us in our lives. And even in the Bible days, people were distracted. In Luke 10:38-42, it says, as Jesus and the disciples continued on their way to Jerusalem, they came to a certain village where a woman named Martha welcomed them to her home. Her sister Mary sat at the Lord's feet listening to what he taught. But Martha was distracted by the big dinner she was preparing. She came to Jesus and said, Lord, doesn't it seem unfair to you that my sister just sits here while I do all the work? Tell her to come and help me. But the Lord said to her, my dear Martha, you are worried and upset over all these details. There is only one thing worth being concerned about. Mary has discovered it, and it will not be taken away from her. And I loved it because back in those days, they had distractions too, just as much as we have distractions nowadays. And, Jesus said, Mary got what was needed, sat there to listen. She heard God, his teaching, what he had to offer. And Martha is just so busy. And I feel like I'm Martha at times. I'm so busy. I'm so caught up in my life. And my mind's constantly going, you got to do this, you got to do that. And every now and then, stuff is like, look down, take a breather. And I'm like, but I got to get this done. I like to get things done. But what I do is I get so caught up in it that I forget to stop to do. Whether it's in the morning, the evening, afternoon, whatever. I figure to stop and do it. So I'm constantly praying. I still need this. Because we still have to have a prayer time, a closet time, and exercise. That's some of the things I'm learning being here more and more. It's like, it's time to find this. These things will be there. When I go to heaven, these things are going to be there. But this will not always be there. My relationship with God is far, far more important than this. No matter how much I love my family, my friends, my relationship is far more important. Mark 4:9 says, Jesus says, whoever has ears to hear, let them hear. And it's so true. We all have two ears and one mouth. And sometimes we do this more than we do this. God gave us two ears for a reason and one mouth for a reason. And, when you think about it, you're like, oh, I need to shut up, and listen to what somebody has to say. So sometimes somebody might have a word for you that will just be exactly what you need to hear, but because you're just constantly talking and not stopping to listen, then it's not good. And so it's like, so what can we do to hear that? Well, one thing we can do is fast. Jesus did that. He took time away from the crowd to find his place with God because he had to. He had to grow in his relationship with God. And in order for him to be what he was supposed to be and do, he had to step away. And many times that's what we got to do. We got to go from here, the chaos, and step away and breathe. We can slow down and not rush into things. So many times, especially with the holidays, Christmas, everybody's rushing to buy gifts, everybody's rushing to get the food and, get family and things planned. And even sometimes we just need to slow down. Sometimes we need to just take time and think God. Whether it's something church to do it, you have your prayer closet, as people call it. Wherever it is, sometimes we need to just take time and think Him. We need to enjoy life. So many are so caught up, and we don't enjoy life like we want to. We see things that we can do or want to do, but we don't take time to enjoy. Enjoy the time we think. Whether it's going to dinner or a movie, something we do a lot of times. Dinner and a movie, because that's the quality time that we can have together that we might not get with our job and ministry or whatever. It's our time. And so you find those ways of enjoying life. If it's shopping, it's playing. Whatever it is, yourself there inside. Study His Word. That's something I'm not the best at. I know God speaks to me and He does things, but I want to go deeper. I want to go as deep as I can before we're wrapped. Because His Word is far more important than having all this cloud in my brain. And, we need to breathe. Like I said, sometimes we can stove on the stove that we forget to stop and breathe. Sometimes we forget to stop and eat. Sometimes I'm cleaning and doing things and I forget to eat. And I'm like, I need to eat. But that's the same thing with God. We need to eat up His Word and fill it with our lives because it's important. It gives us bread for the day, the things that we need every day, the encouragement, the life, the lessons. We need to create a place to pray and sing. Like I said, to be at the church, to be in the car, driving to and from work. I know as Abigail, she's been training different places. So I'm sure she's probably had some of that time traveling back and forth. And so it's important to create a place of atmosphere of worship and time. And it doesn't matter because God is everywhere. So wherever, if it's in a bathroom, that's where you go to get your time with Him. And more importantly, we need to reflect. We need to think about what God is doing in our lives, where we need to go, what we need to do. It's good to stop and reflect on your life. It's good to think about the testimony that you have because nobody can take it away. And I didn't even think about, as I was talking about my hearing, that it actually went right along with this message. It just hit me as the song plays, God can do. And with my hearing and everything, it's all, and it was like, okay, God, thanks. Because we hear just as much as He hears, and He wants that for us. So you may be thinking, is God really listening? In 1 John 5:14, this is the confidence we have in approaching God, that if we ask anything according to His will, He hears. So if you have a question, is He listening? That verse right there says, But of course, I know we come with Him with everything we want, everything we need, but if it's according to His will, He hears us. He hears our prayers and our cries, but as long as it's according to His will, He hears us. So never doubt that He's not listening to He hears. And I love that in the song it says, Jesus found His victory when He told His Father it's not His will, but God's will. And so that's what we have to do. Say, okay, God, not my will, but yours. Because your will is far, far more important. And I'm going to go to greater places when it's your will. When I start doing my own thing, a lot of times you bring yourself down, I'm the worst critic of all to myself. So, even though you may say something to me, I am the worst. You can ask Him. I beat myself down way far than anybody can do me. And that's not what God wants. He wants us to be uplifted because he's up. His glory, his word is far more encouraging, and it has every life lesson in there, and we forget that because it's the Bible. It's back in the day, over 2,000 some years old. But it's so vital that many times you read the same passage and you get something new out of it. I love when God does that. I've read this a million times, and it's something new, and I love that. In Jeremiah 29:11, 12 and 13, it says, "For I know the plans I have for you, says the Lord. They are plans for good and not for disaster, to give you a future and a hope. Then you will call upon me and come and pray to me, and I will hear you. You will seek me and find me, seek me with all your heart." And that's exactly what God wants. When we seek Him, He's already got the plans for us. It's already there. He already knows it. He's ready to give you the blessings and the plans. And I love in the New Living Translation it says, "for good and not for disaster." There's so many disasters that take place all over the world, but He has a plan that doesn't go chaos. His plan is on a straight path for us, that it's God blessings. Yeah, we're going to face trials. God never said it would be just, good, never have any issues. But those issues, those trials, keep us on a straight path to remind us that He's in control, not us, that He has the journey, that as long as we trust Him and give it to Him, then our future will be here. Isaiah 65:4 says, "Before they call, I will answer. While they are still speaking, I will hear. Call to me, and I will answer you, and show you great and mighty things which you do not know." Jeremiah 30:26. So when we seek Him, call out to Him, He's going to answer. It may not be the way you want. Sometimes you're like, that's not how I thought God would do it. But, I think we're human. We think it should be done right away on something. And God doesn't work like that. Sometimes it's in a far future that something may happen. You'll reflect back and say, oh, that's what God was doing in my life then. We need to be still and know that He's God. Which is kind of what the reflection is, what I think about reflection. Being still. Letting Him speak to our hearts and our minds. And letting us grow in Him. Because if we're not still, we can't go anywhere. So my question is, which side do you want to be on? Do you want to be drowning by the distractions of the world? Or do you want to be on God's side where it's overflowing with love, joy, peace, comfort, and so much more? It's kind of like the water fountain that just keeps going. It's never ending. And that's what His love is. That's what His peace, joy, and comfort. But when we're drowning in all of this, as I sometimes know myself do, I feel like I'm drowning. And I say, God, I don't want to drown anymore. I want to be over here where I'm being filled with His love, and His peace, and His joy, and His comfort, and overflowing so that I can bless somebody else. And I can teach somebody else something that they may need. Sometimes things we read, things we do, we end up sharing it, and it's like, thank you for that. I needed that today. And you don't realize it. I am saying this for your benefit, not to place restrictions on you. I want you to do whatever will help you serve the Lord, but with as few distractions as possible. 1 Corinthians 7:35. Luke 12:31. Seek the kingdom of God above all else, and He will give you everything. God doesn't want to restrict us from them. It was all created for a reason. We have to please and keep the house in order. We have movies and music to kind of keep us going. But He doesn't want us to be so engrossed in it that we forget to take time for Him. Because He's going to lead us. He's going to guide us. And I just passed out this next. It's a song. I'm going to kind of read the lyrics. And it's going to kind of close us. It says, no matter what, the name of it. And you guys can look it up on YouTube and stuff to hear it in in the actual tune, if you want to call it that. It's by Terry Roberts. It says, I'm running back to your promises one more time. Lord, that's all I can hold on to. I've got to say the past taken me by surprise, but nothing surprises you. Before a heartache can ever touch my life, it has to go through your healing. But even though I keep asking why, no matter what, I'm gonna love you. No matter what, I'm gonna need you. I know that you can find a way to keep me from pain, but if not, I'll trust you. No matter what, no matter what. When I'm stuck in this nothingness by myself, I'm just sitting in silence. There's no way I can make it without your help. I won't even try it. I know you have your reasons for everything, so I will keep believing. Whatever I might be feeling, that you are my hope and you'll be my strength. No matter what, I'm going to love you. No matter what, I'm going to need you. I know that you can find a way to keep me from the pain, but if not, I'll trust you. No matter what, no matter what. Anything I don't have, you can give it to me. But if it's okay if you don't, I'm not here for those things. The touch of your love is enough on its own. But no matter what, I still love you, and I'm gonna need you. No matter what, I'm gonna love you. No matter what, I'm gonna need you. I know that you can find a way to keep from the pain, but if not, I'll trust you. I know that you can find a way to keep me from the pain, but if not, I'll trust you. No matter what, no matter what. And I love the lyrics because it's so true, because no matter what, I want to trust you. No matter what, I'm going to need you. And, everything we go through life, it goes through his hands before it even hits us. And, we ask why. I know there's been things I've been asking why lately. But it doesn't go through his hands before, it always goes through sin before it touches our lives. And all we have to do is remember that no matter what, we're going to trust him. We're going to, need him. We're going to love him. And that's where I kind of want to end before I play this next song. It says, it's like, are you ready to go from less distraction to more of God? God's agenda, not ours. And that's something Justin been talking about lately. We want God's agenda more than anything. And though we may not do it right all the time, because we're human, that's something we are thinking more and more is his agenda. Not just for our lives, but for this too. Living water. It says, we've been talking about rebuilding the foundation. That's in people's lives. And I know not long ago we locked arms and we stood on that vision for the church of rebuilding that foundation. So my question today is, are you ready to pursue the vision and build that foundation, by going here, hearing what he has to say to the church? Because each and every one of you has something to offer. It's not just me. It's us as a group, as a community, as a church. We are a family. And as a family, we can build this foundation to where God wants us to exist. And as this song plays, I want you guys, it's called Staying Away by Cutler. And I want you to listen to the lyrics that has it on here. And just think about it. Are you ready to go from all this chaos and ready to move forward into what God has for this church and your own life? Because I know I am. Lately, it's just like, God, I want more of you, more of you. I want your agenda in everything I do. And I get so cut off in this. And I don't want to be caught up in this. Even when we have kids, I want to know that I can separate it and say, okay, enough of this. I got to go spend time with God. I got to get refreshed and renewed because He's more important. My challenge, my question today is, do you want to go from this to this? I know I personally do. That's my choice. But what I want for you guys is to think about it. As you heard the song, even if you have to stand alone, this is what I'd rather do than caught up in all of that. It's going to be there because it's life. But we can also take ourselves and not be so caught in it that we have come to know that He is for one of everything. And so